Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on when you're doing your notes. So we are going to go ahead and continue on with combining like terms. Now, what we're doing today, so if you think back on Tuesday, you guys learned how to combine like terms, and then on Wednesday, you guys practiced it. Well, today, what we're doing is we're just taking it up one more extra level, and we're going to actually combine our combining like terms knowledge and our distributive property knowledge. So what that means is now we're going to combine like terms with distributive property present within the problem. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute, but let's go ahead and dive into the notes section. So in order to combine like terms, when distributive property is present, you're going to do the following. The very first thing you want to do is use the distributive property to simplify that part of the expression. So we're going to use distributive property to simplify that part of the expression. Okay? And all that means is we have distributive property. Remember when we see distributive property, we see parentheses, right? Well, we don't want to see parentheses within our combining like terms problem. So what we're basically doing is we're trying to get rid of those parentheses. We don't want to see them. We want to simplify it down to where they're not there anymore. And then after that, you're going to combine like terms like normal. So once we've gotten rid of our parentheses, then we'll combine our like terms as normal. And just a reminder of how we do that. Remember, the very first thing you want to do is you want to draw your shapes around your like terms. So your squares, your circles, your triangles. Then you want to rewrite the expression. You want to rewrite the expression with your like terms together. So sometimes our like terms are on opposite ends of our problem, but we want them to be on the same side of the problem. So maybe I have 2x on one side and then 3x on another, but I want them to be right next to each other. Okay? And then the last part is actually simplify the expression by combining those like terms. So do what it tells you to do. If it says 2x plus 3x, then add 2x and 3x together to give you 5x. If it says 8y squared minus 3y squared, then actually subtract them and do 8y squared minus 3y squared is 5y squared. Okay, so at this point you're actually doing what it tells you to do. So let's go ahead and look down here at the problems. As you see, I have 3 problems for us to do together, and then you have 3 problems to do on your own. Now remember, these you try problems, those are going to be on your quiz. Okay, so you will be taking a short quiz after this, and those 3 problems will be on that quiz. All right, so and you're allowed to use your notes, so please take these notes. Take them with you when you take your quiz, and all you're doing is you're writing your final answer for those. All right, so let's show you how to get it done. Okay, so for this first problem, what I would recommend, don't write anything down just yet. You just watch me do it and listen to me do it, and then once I'm done with question 1, you can pause the video so that you can go back and rewrite everything down that you've missed, okay? Then once we get to question 2, then you can work it out with me. But for this very first one, I really just want you to see and listen to what I'm doing, okay? So when we're looking at our combining like terms problem, again, we're looking to see if we have parentheses within our problems because we don't want those, right? So I'm looking here and I see that I have 3 times x minus 4. Those are my parentheses that I want to get rid of, okay? So what I have to do is I'm going to use the distributive property to get rid of those parentheses. Now remember, distribute means to do what? Very good. It means to give, and to give means what? To multiply. Very good. So I'm going to give my 3 to my x. Okay, so 3 times x is just going to be regular 3x. We bring down our minus sign, and then I'm going to give 3 to 4. Again, to give means to multiply. So I'm doing 3 times 4, and you can actually tell yourself that when you're drawing the arrows. You can say, all right, here I'm at 3, and I'm going to do 3 times 4. So as you're drawing the arrow, you can say the the times part. So 3 times 4 is what? Awesome, 12. And then that's what we write. And so see, now I don't have any parentheses left. Now I'm good to just combine like terms as normal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring everything else down. So everything that was outside after those parentheses, that's what I'm going to bring down. So my plus 15 plus 7x minus 3. I'm bringing those all down. So now, do I have any more parentheses that I need to take care of? Nope. I'm good. Distributive property, the distributive property part is done with. So now we just combine like terms as normal. So remember that starts with drawing our shapes around our like terms. So I'm going to look at 3x. Does anything else look like 3x? Does anything have another x variable? Yes, so we do, and that's going to be the plus 7x. So it has an x variable, and they both do not have an exponent, so those are like terms together. All right, anything else? Nope. All right, so then we're going to look at 12. So minus 12. Again, remember to put those signs, the minus and the plus signs, within your circles and squares, okay? So who can remind me what is 12? Very good, it's a whole number. So if you remembered that 12 is just a number by itself, that's a whole number. So looking around, do I have any other whole numbers? Well, I have 15, so I'm going to circle that. Again, I'm circling the plus with it as well. And I have 3. So I'm going to circle that minus sign with it as well. Remember, there's a reason why we circle our minuses and our plus signs within our shapes, okay? And there you have it. Those are all of our like terms. So now we can move on to step 2, which says to write our like terms together. So I'm going to start with my red boxes. And my first red box is 3x. So I'm going to actually come over here and do my work over here. All right, so now I have 3x in my first red box. And what's inside of my second red box? What's all inside of it? What's all inside of it is my plus 7x. So don't forget that plus sign, okay? All right, so that's all my reds. Now I'm going to move into my purples. So I start with, again, my first purple circle. What's all in there? Minus 12. Don't forget the minus sign. Then my second purple circle has plus 15, and my third purple circle has minus 3. All right? Final step, actually do what it tells you to do and combine the like terms. So we'll start with 3x plus 7x. Well, what would 3 plus 7 be? It would be 10. So what would 3x plus 7x be? It should just be 10x. The only difference here is that it's not just plain old whole numbers. Now we have a variable with it, but nothing really happens with that variable. It just kind of gets tagged along. Okay, it's like an annoying little sister or brother that just kind of tags along with you and wants to hang out with you. That's what our x kind of does here, okay? Or you can think of it as like your x being pencils. I have 3 pencils on the left-hand side of my desk and 7 pencils on the right-hand side of my desk. So how many total pencils do I have? Well, I have 10, okay? So don't forget your x's. All right, and then on the last part, we have minus 12 plus 15 minus 3. What I recommend is always starting with your positive number. So if you look, we have minus 12. That's a negative number, so I don't want to start there. And then on the other side, we have minus 3, which again is a negative number, so I don't want to start there. But over in the middle, I have plus 15, so that's a positive 15, so that's what I'm going to start with. Okay, so if I have 15 and I do 15 minus 3, what do I have now? Very good, I should have 12. Okay, well then what's 12 minus 12? 0. So do I have to write 0? I mean, you could write 10x plus 0, but what's the point of that? It's 0. So what I would do, I wouldn't write your plus 0 and just leave 10x as your final answer because that's technically in its simplest form. If we write the plus 0, it's not technically in its simplest form because that 0 shouldn't actually be there. So 10x is your final number. So again, take a minute, pause the video if you need to so that you can go back and write this all down, okay? All right, so hopefully you paused the video and went back and wrote all of that work down. So now we're going to move on to question 2. And again, now you can pick up your pencil and work through this problem with me, okay? So once more, we're looking for parentheses. So do you guys see parentheses in this big, long problem? I do. Hopefully you saw the parentheses here at -7 times 2x plus 3. Now there's a reason why I included that -7. So just like up here in our other example, we always include the sign that's before the number when we're circling and squaring. So we have to kind of do that here too. So if it's a plus sign, well then that's just a +7 that you're dealing with. But because that's a minus sign, now I have a negative number that I'm dealing with. You guys haven't done a whole lot with negatives, so pay attention very closely here. There's only one thing that's going to change within this work, okay? So let's go ahead and do our normal stuff. So if I'm distributing, distribute means to do what? To give, very good. And to give means to do what? To multiply, awesome. So I'm going to take 7 times 2x, which would be 14x, okay? And then 7 times 3 is 21. Now here's what happens because we have that negative sign there. Where these numbers would typically be positive, if it was 7 times 2 and 7 times 3, because that's a negative sign right there, these two actually turn into negative. So it's not positive 14x, but it's going to be minus 14x. And it's not positive 21, it's going to be minus 21. Okay? I know that's weird. I know you guys haven't ever done that before. Basically, all your negative does is it changes your numbered value to the opposite. So let's say that was a negative 14x. Say it already was a negative 14x. Well, that other negative by our 7 would then change it to a positive 14x. So you're just doing the opposite, okay? So because 2x and 3 were both positives, now they're turned into 2 negatives. All right? So you may want to pause, rewind, listen to that again. But the only thing that's changing because of this negative by the 7 is that my positive answers of 14x and 21 turn into negative answers of negative 14x and negative 21. That's the only difference, okay? So let's go ahead and continue on. We got to bring everything else down. So I'm going to bring down 25x minus 12y squared minus 10 on that side, and then plus 43 plus 8x on this side. So now I don't have any other parentheses, so I can move forward. Okay, so remember that we're putting our shapes around our like terms now. So I'm going to start with 25x. And I'm going to look through, and I like to go just like piece by piece through to see if anything else has an x variable first. So I, go over to 12y squared. Well, that's not it. And then I go over to 10. That doesn't have an x. But then I get to my minus 14x, and that does work. It has the variable x as well as having no exponent. So then I keep going. I have minus 21, that doesn't work, plus 43, that doesn't work. But then over here on the end, again, I have another x, so plus 8x. And remember, all three of them do not have exponents, so they are like terms, okay? So then I look at my minus 12y squared, okay? Anything look like that? Nope, it doesn't, so it's all by itself. And then my last one that I'm going to look at is my minus 10. I'm going to put a triangle around that. And so that's just a regular whole number. And so I'm looking through and I see, oh, I have minus 21. That's another whole number. And plus 43 is another whole number. Okay? So now we get to rewrite the expressions with our numbers together. So I'll start with my green. So I'm going to rewrite it as 25x minus 14x plus 8x. And if you're wondering where I got these numbers from, I got them from our green boxes. So 25x minus 14x plus 8x. Okay? Then I do my blue of minus 12y squared. And then my purple of minus 10 plus, minus 21 and then plus 43. All right,